Hello, YouTube. Hi. I'm Video Guy. Video Guy. So, feminism. Everyone wants to be a feminist these days. You can't really trust most things that end in ist. Do you know anything that ends in ist that you like? Proctologist. I don't. So, it turns out in biology there's this thing called sexual dimorphism. And what that means is sometimes the guys are bigger than the girls, sometimes the girls are bigger than the guys, and based on those differences, just size alone, you're going to get huge differences in behavior. Now, why would that exist? For the same reason you don't have 11 quarterbacks in a football team, because specialization allows for excellence, right? So let's say we're, a couple thousand years ago, and life's a little bit harder. We've got a kid. We're trying to raise that kid, make sure it doesn't get eaten by lions or whatever other predators are running around. We want to make sure that that kid turns out fabulously, right? Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to clean it when it's dirty, feed them, love them, hug them, train them, teach them. So the question is, how many people do you need to take care of that kid at the same time? So let's say that for the purposes of this thought experiment, that taking care of kids is a motherly activity, which it pretty much is, because until guys start squirting titty milk, the kids are going to starve just hanging out with guys, right? They really need to hang out with some women, particularly ones that are lactating, right? So kids born, hanging out with mom, breastfeeding, right? They're exchanging information through the milk. The kid's telling chemically the mom what it actually needs through the breastfeeding, through the suckling. The kid is getting lots of immune system through the colostrum from the mother, right? So, and the mother's having changes to her psychology from the oxytocin release and other chemicals. It turns out that if your tits are full of milk, having a kid suck the milk out makes them stop hurting. It's a good reward, right? We like it when our tits don't feel like exploding. At least I do. Except when I'm getting my swole on. So, what if the man that helped create the child, acts just like the woman, wants to hang out, even though he doesn't have titty milk, he's just hanging out, being there. Well, where's the food going to come from? You got to eat, right? I mean, it's not like you guys are like living on top of a banana tree or something. You're probably living in shelter, and there's probably not food growing in your shelter. Well, someone's got to go and get the food, right? So should that someone be the mother that is the only one that can feed the child, right? It can't eat cheeseburgers. It needs milk, period. Milk. That's what it needs, right? Well, I think that the father should go and get the food, because if the father dies while trying to get food, the mom can still go get it. But if the mom dies while trying to get food, the food doesn't fucking matter, because the mom has to process the food into milk to feed the kid, right? So it's blatantly, wildly obvious that children need their mothers more than they need their fathers. Now, you could try and invent like a very convoluted, there's just this one lady that's got titty milk all the time, so, we can let the original mom die. I don't think anyone's stupid enough to make that argument. At least I hope not. Don't read the comments, right? So, we know that men and women are different. Kids only pop out of women. Kids only get fed by women, right? The mitochondrial DNA only comes from women. The father has no part in it, right? So, for you guys that didn't know, you don't have just one set of DNA. You have at least two. Your set that came from mom and dad, and then the set that's in your mitochondria, which is separate. It just comes from your mom. Crazy. Then there's some people in this world that actually have more than two sets. They're chimeras. Some of their DNA is mixed up differently than some of their other DNA. Crazy. Those people aren't that common. So the point is, if you're arguing for equality and you're arguing for the destruction of diversity through making everything the same, a giant gray goo of mankind, you're an asshole. We're not supposed to be equal. That's why we have roles. That's why we have specialization. That's why we have different kinds of cereal. We don't have one kind of fucking cereal because it's unfair for Cheerios to be different than Fruit Pops. No, they're supposed to be different, okay? if you look at countries where people have the most opportunity, right? Let's look at Scandinavia, the most opportunity, the highest disposable income, the most safety. They win best countries in the world every year. It's not an accident. It's measurable, right? These aren't party animals that are rating these countries. These are pretty nerdy sociologist types and economist types that have decided that these places are awesome to live in, right? When's the last time you heard about a terrorist attack in, say, Norway? I can't remember one. There may have never been one. Well, I guess there was that white dude on the island. That guy killed a lot of people. But other than that guy, not so much terror going on there, right? So the point is it good for human beings to search for equality? Yeah, it is. It's also good for us to search for patterns, right? Is it good for us to search for equality and patterns in the wrong places? No. If you're taking a shit and looking for signs of extraterrestrial life in it, you're fucking up. I mean, I hope you're fucking up. I don't want there to be but aliens. I don't think I do. So, my point, stop arguing for equality where it's harmful to have it, okay? I don't want idiots programming my computer. I don't want the world's best brain surgeon compounding my medicine. Brain surgery involves knives. Compounding medicine involves mortars and pistols and whatever else they're using. Not a lot of knives. They're two different skill sets, right? And life is complex enough where you can't be good at everything. You can only be truly exceptional in a couple things, period. That's it, just a couple things, right? There's not that many Michelangelos running around who are polymaths and Renaissance man. And even if there was, I bet he'd whoop a lot more ass if he sticked in a single domain. Depending. Probably being multidisciplinary paid off better in the past when we had less discoveries. Now that we've dived so much deeper down all these paths, it's harder to it's harder to even get caught up down a single path to be able to add from another place in an exciting way. So, you guys out there that are searching for equality, it's beautiful. Keep up the good work, but holy shit, leave it out of gender and leave it out of men and women. Men and women were working just fine for thousands of years. And you destroying diversity and making everyone a gray goo of gender, it's not making the world a better place. Luckily enough, the world doesn't give a shit enough about what you're talking about to really change much. So I guess we've got that going for us. Stop advertising and marketing for something that if you stopped for 10 minutes and actually thought about what the world would look like, you wouldn't want it, right? Oh, and by the way, it's actually a competitive system out there. If you become too much of a bitch, another country comes and fucks you up. So, maybe the reason no one's invaded and fixed North Korea is because they're willing to fuck people up, right? And maybe the more bitch mode your society is, maybe someone comes and takes it from you. Acting like a pussy is not without cost. Ask any high school kid what acting like a pussy gets you. Well, it gets you knocked around a lot because society punishes those that act like pussies for a good reason. Some people that were on the fence and could have gone ultra pussy or not, well, they decided to stop being pussies because it didn't pay well, right? It's not an accident. It's built into the system and it works. There's a lot of other ugly shit that sucks that works, like bears eating their kids. That's horrible. I don't want to see that, but it works. You don't have to compete with that bear next year, right? So, life and reality and biology and evolution, these things have figured out a lot of shit that you guys just getting out of college have not figured out. No, that's all I'm going to say for now. I got about 1 million other points I'll probably share with you in the future.